I don't need anything from you. And there's people recording and everything. And I don't need anything. I'm going to give you money.
Welcome, Stan. Thank you for joining us here on Rely on Local. We're trying to be an asset for local here in our community.
Love it.
And yeah, we're happy to have you here. Your Venmo Challenge Racine is amazing. I've been watching it from an outsider and seeing all the things that you're doing.
Awesome.
And it's really bringing a lot of energy towards the restaurants, and I think that's what we need around here.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID has been a tough battle. The restaurants are probably taking it the hardest. And to come through with what you're doing without having an agenda, I think is the best part. I think
That's
brings,
cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it really brings a lot of what people, I think, would like to see when they want to help something.
Yeah.
So I guess starting out, I'd really like to hear where you got to this point, or how you got to this point. What was the driving force? What was some background that you could give us?
Sure. In September 25th was my wife's birthday.
Okay.
The lovely Mary Anderson.
Oh, fantastic.
Former Miss Racine. By the
Oh,
way.
my gosh.
That's for Ann Gillis.
Okay.
So it was her birthday, and we were going to go out as a family.
Great.
And I had seen on TikTok, and I was dabbling on TikTok for my business, which is goalkeeper training.
Right.
Various social media platforms. I kept hearing about TikTok, and so... All right, we'll give it a shot.
Sure, check it out.
So there was a woman by the name of, or a handle, I don't know what her name is, Lexi Lately, and she would go out and deliver, maybe 1,000 to a server or 500 to a server. Or
Wow.
something. And that's great. And so we thought that initially.
Okay.
Well, we went out we raised money, our money and others. For Mary's birthday, we were going to gift somebody. So we went to O'Dennis's.
Oh, okay.
And it was great. That's
right over in Douglas.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. One of our favorite places. So, we set it up to hopefully have, how close the kitchen is to the door to the parking lot. And this is pretty heavy COVID at the time.
Sure.
And so we parked and asked for a cook to come out. They said no, they couldn't do that. And so a lady came out, gave us our food, and I asked her if she'd ever heard. And I was really slow and pathetic in my delivery of the money because I had hundreds of dollars in the car, 500 total, but in different places. So I didn't have 500 and only give her 100.
Okay.
So she didn't know about it. I gave her $100. Our bill was $109, so it was a pretty good tip.
Yeah, I would say.
But then she scooted right back inside.
Okay.
And we're like, shit, that didn't go well. I mean, all of us were in the car. We're like, that sucked. So we decided, okay, well, instead of going in and saying, hey, we decided to go across town. We bought a small pepperoni pizza from Bill Rivers over at Wells.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And gave him $400.
Wow.
And for a small pepperoni pizza.
Wow.
And slowly it started to evolve.
Oh, great.
From there. So that was really the September 25th, 2020 was the first night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your focus at that point in the beginning was, hey, we've got this money that we've collected.
Yeah.
What's our best way to get it to somebody or to get it to a restaurant in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was we were probably following that pattern just to give it to somebody at that time.
Sure.
In the restaurant, because we knew restaurants were getting their ass kicked. So it was it makes sense to get it to somebody.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But the money kept coming in.
Okay.
And it was okay, that's great.
It is.
Fantastic. And it was literally, and I learned this phrase from you, I've literally been a pass-through. And in that window of time, money it slowly kept coming in. Okay. And I didn't keep asking, but then I started going, okay, well, let's do this right.
Yep.
And that led us to some more.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And now how many have you done?
We've done 24 restaurants. And I'd say restaurants, pubs.
Okay.
But service type industry work and mainly restaurants. 22 of those 24 have been inside Racine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's been pretty cool in that
Yes.
regard. And we ventured a little bit early. We went to Sheffield's in Chicago, and we went to the Highbury in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And those were more smaller gifts. Again, it was really early. We hadn't
Sure.
even done a big gift yet.
Okay.
And or at least what I would consider our present day big gifts.
Okay.
And so those were just almost, money came in and we Venmoed over to the Highbury.
Okay.
I drove down to Sheffield's to have lunch because one of my goalkeepers, their dad owns Sheffield's. It's right near Wrigley, and they were
okay.
hit ridiculously hard.
Oh, sure.
So that was like $240, but my bill was only $60.
Okay.
So he's like, what the hell is this? In a good way, but I was like, hey, it's not money from me, but it's money I've collected. It should go here,
Right.
And so we did, and then it evolved and it got bigger.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Well, tell us a little bit about that getting bigger. So what was that next step?
We Ricky Smetana is a good friend. I don't, it's not like I played soccer with Ricky or sports or anything or shared a business with him, but I knew him from college, and he owned, Ricky's on Main Street.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then he moved and owned Richard's Bar.
Yes.
And I was doing Richard's Bar. And
Yes.
so I've always known Ricky.
Okay.
And always respected the work that he did here in Racine.
Yes.
So
Great guy.
we thought, all right, well, let's try to change someone's 2020 because 2020 was shit for everybody. So
Right.
let's try to change it. And I should have done 2021, but we did 2020.
Okay.
And so we went in, and a buddy of mine, Jerry Bain, was with us, his son, and sat at the bar, and Jerry was over here, and his son here, and I'm here, and Ricky's out there. A bunch of other people were in the bar.
Okay.
And I had him come over and asked him to hang out, his wife, his daughter. And I said, look, this is what we've got. And I started counting out the money, and I think we had 20s at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so it was pathetically slow. Again, counting out $1,000
Wow.
in
Wow.
20s. I think it was
Oh,
20s,
my.
or 20s or 50s.
Sure.
It wasn't
Let's
hundreds.
take
though.
a little bit.
So I got embarrassed because he was looking at me like he was pissed off in a good way.
Okay.
He wasn't angry like, get the hell out of here.
Right.
But he was like, what are you doing, man? And so I get to 1,000, and then I reach in and I said, and here's another 1,000,
Wow.
and then here's $20. So 2020 to change 2020. It's been crap, dude.
Wow.
And so I try to give it to him, no. I try to give it to his wife, no. I try to give it to his daughter, no.
Oh,
and
wow.
finally they got it, and a bunch of the people in the bar were stoked and happy. And
Oh, my.
so we got it to him and took some pictures, and then we started getting positive energy from the community that let's keep doing it.
Right.
And it was really early that we decided, okay, we may now set a goal of $100,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And so that's taken us on from 2020, our first big gift,
Okay.
into 2,500 gifts, $3,000 gifts, $3,500 gifts, $4,000 gifts, and it's really evolved.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love to hear that.
People here are great, man. As you know, I mean, people in this city are great. They get enough crap for being Racine or whatever, but it's just like every other city.
It is. It is.
I mean,
It is.
every other city gets crap as well, and
Right.
So I'm not.
Grass
from-
is always greener somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy with that. It's amazing
Yeah.
to me. I say it a lot of times on this podcast. I say it a lot of times in the RelyLocal world that I work with. People want to engage locally. They want to, if they knew how and where to do it.
Yeah.
And so it is so much a part of that, of what you're doing, is a local engagement.
100%.
Yeah. And so people see that and go, yes, I want that restaurant to survive.
Yeah.
I want this place to be better. I want things going well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you're a big part of that. I commend
Well,
you for
I
that.
appreciate that. I'd love to be in the conversations that I'm not from here. I'm from Palatine and moved in here when I played soccer at Parkside and
okay.
met my wife and married my wife here.
Okay.
So Pureth Strand Funeral Home. That
Oh,
family
sure.
is what I'm married into. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, I'd like to be be a fly on the wall. Some of the conversations that there's plenty of people that I don't know in the
Right.
city, and
Oh, sure.
they're like, this guy's full of shit. What's all those type of thing, and hopefully some people are saying no.
Right.
And I think that's what's
Right.
happening because money continues to come in.
Good.
I mean, the owner of the Corner House when we were over at
Benny.
Captain,
Yep.
yeah, drops off a $500 check.
Wow.
I've never met the guy.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
think I've been to the Corner House once in my life.
Right.
and he comes up and gives me the check. That's humbling. It's rewarding because that'll go to somebody, and
right.
That's the rallying that every city needs, and
it does.
If this is part of it, then kick ass.
Right. To go in directions that are positive like that is just amazing. Yeah. Becca, do you have a
my first question was, where were you posting all these things? Did you do TikTok after that first one was kind of a flop?
Yeah, I posted a few on TikTok.
Okay.
But it didn't grab the traction.
Okay.
That Facebook, and certainly my age group is more Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I don't edit. Like I don't know how to take a clip, and that's the big guy's job.
Producer Barry,
way over my pay grade, and so mine is just it's just the real
raw footage.
Exactly.
You got it. Yeah.
So
it's very genuine that way.
Yeah. And so on TikTok, I mean, there's a lot of editing and all that, and I have the time for it. I don't have the knowledge for that. Mm-hmm. So and Dropboxing it to somebody and having them cut it if they weren't there and all that sort of stuff. So I just say forget it. And usually it's a 5-minute window. Okay. So I did a couple. I'd grab a minute out of. I can do that. I can grab a minute out. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like save that
clip.
and then then get that onto TikTok. But it wasn't producing.
Right.
Okay, so where has your following grown the most?
The following has grown in the city the most, and on Facebook. At Venmo Challenge Racine is a Facebook page.
Okay.
So
Facebook, right.
I started that and said, okay, we'll just show all of the gifts, those moments here.
Okay.
And as they happen, we'll put it there. Then what happened is we started sharing it on Rally for Racine.
Okay.
I don't know who owns it. Mm-hmm. Or who runs it, or who's the moderator, or whatever for that group. But it's a pretty active group.
Very.
On Facebook?
On Facebook.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when I post there, it now says that it's my group. And I'm like, what the hell is this? It's not my group. But I think I post there so much that they're probably like, let him.
Maybe they gave you admin rights or something and you didn't know it.
Hilarious. But anyway, we then post it there. So hopefully people will, if they want to see it first, either show up if we even shared where we were going, or see it first on our page, and then within minutes. It's not like the next day or anything. Sometimes if it was late at night, we'd wait till the next day to put it on Rally for Racine.
Sure.
Okay.
But either way, people would see it, they'd love it. And what I've been happy about in particular is I've got a bad character trait that when people tell me no, I get pissed off. So if I want to do something, I want it to be positive. I don't think anybody likes to be told no anyway, but I spend too much energy there. So the positivity of this has been rewarding for me in the sense that it's just simply there is no agenda. It's money in, money out. Let's make somebody's day, and we'll go from there.
It's all positive, yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I have a couple more questions too. Like, how do you pick?
Bring them on.
How do you pick the restaurants or the businesses?
Yeah, there's a couple people that I'm close to. I ultimately will make that decision, and what I mean by that is that when you get a committee together, it sucks. I love to have good people around. But if you're like, let's get 4 of us, 6 of us, 8 of us, 7 of us to get whatever together to try to decide, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a thought. And somebody's going to get upset if we don't go somewhere or whatever. So they're phenomenal people. Kelly Tempesta is human gold in my book. I talk with all the time about this, my wife. And then there's been people that have come into the mix, if you will, the people that have helped.
So an unofficial board of directors, in a sense.
Yeah, there you go. It's just kind of scattered.
Yeah, they're all Racine, and so I ask them, and they'll give me their thought, and I'll ask people, where should we go next?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Can people nominate like a business or a restaurant, or do you do that on the Facebook page? Like, hey, shout out some names. You could do a Facebook poll, like have 4 businesses and do a vote thing. Like,
I have asked in the past, probably at our, I don't know, maybe a 30 or 40,000 mark, somewhere in that window, if I were to give a gauge as to when it was. And it was great, and people did. And no one got upset, and people have continued to give messages through our page and recommendations and what have you.
Great.
And so
Great.
some of those, I mean, there was a restaurant that's out on 11. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's fantastic. And I was in my car driving past where I always see the RelyLocal vehicle. I was on Sunny Slope, and I'm heading towards 20. And I was heading to do an errand or something, and I got a message from somebody about this restaurant. And I said, I'll go there now. And literally 10 minutes later, I was inside sitting down. I was the only one there. It was a great meal, you know, and they wanted to potentially consider it for a gift. And I like to go everywhere that I can before we gift if I can.
Okay.
Sometimes that works out.
Sure.
Sometimes it doesn't. But the reason that it's just me or that I'll take that responsibility is I don't need the credit for doing it. I have no problem being the face of it. It's an ugly ass face, but I'll be the face of it. But at the end of the day, I don't need others getting upset or people getting upset at them or
So why not me? Why not this? Why not that? Yeah, you can get into a real
So if you're going to go at somebody,
trick bag.
It's me. You know, and that, you know, I don't think that's happening anyway, and I don't think it will happen. But that's really why it's really that simple. Kelly Tempesta, though, my wife, and a few others, you know, John and Sharon Auer and Michelle and Jamie Kong, those guys have been great, and Tammy Lopaparo, and I could go on. Rob Peterson over at Ferraro's Pizza, you know, a bunch of these people that have gifted their time, their effort, their money to help raise money.
Nice.
I mean, Benson's Bakery.
Oh, sure, Ben.
30 Kringle. They were gone in 2 hours.
Wow.
And then he said, well, let's double it.
Wow.
And so now it was 60 Kringles in, you know, a space of a day. We're gone. I drove them all around the city, delivered them, and people paid $20-25 for a Kringle to raise money. And
raise some money.
it just goes to another restaurant. So
there you go.
It's just that type of stuff.
There you go.
That's very cool. Is there any special criteria that you have for a business? Like they have to be struggling at a certain point, or? Yeah,
that's a great question. What I don't do is I'm not arrogant enough or ridiculous or stupid or whatever to have somebody apply.
Okay.
You know, that would piss me off. I wouldn't want to do that. And who am I to receive an application from somebody? I'm not in the industry. I'm not anybody. I don't have governmental power. I'm not in politics. None of that crap. So how that would be embarrassing. And everybody's hurting. I mean, this is a year that, you know, not just the restaurant industry.
Yes.
Everybody's hurting. And it's just at different levels. Now, some have had banner years. And we gifted somebody recently, and they were kind of two similar places that we were looking at. And then in asking people and seeking counsel from people and relying on local people in Racine.
Hey, look at that.
Exactly. I've found that one place was hurting more than the other.
There you go.
So it's a lot of word of mouth and just talking with people and finding out what they're struggling with. Yeah.
And, you know, whether they're down 10% or 90%, you know, most commonly they're down. And so are print shops, and so are, you know, automobile dealerships.
It trickles along. It trickles down. It trickles all the ways, all the ways that it just spreads around like that. The impact of certain things to other things. Yeah.
It's been harder, I think, for local businesses to really weather the storm because they don't have all that backing of like the big chains.
Big box, national chains, right?
They
can weather a lot, but the small local single shop places most of the time just can't.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're already on the razor's edge most of the time.
Right.
I've been battling with them for 10 years in this RelyLocal program, and I see it all the time. They're, you know, one little thing could just make them tip.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see what you've got going on with it because I think it's huge impact.
Yeah.
It is real impact.
I appreciate that
because
it's
that's real impact.
That's important for me. I know that we're not delivering Dave Portnoy money from
Yeah.
Barstool. You know, I get that. But what I didn't realize out of this, I wanted to kind of bring the topic I mentioned full circle. With the Lexi lately, she was given the money as a tip. And I realized early that, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
That is. And she does a phenomenal job. And Lexi, I hope someday you look at this. But I wanted to give something different to the owner of the restaurant,
There
who
you go.
may be more aware that, you know what, we need to get an app now.
Yes.
And they could use funding to get an app.
Right.
Or we need to keep somebody on that we're close to losing their job. And
Right.
We can pay them for another month.
You got it.
That type of thing versus, and I wanted to do it after our meal.
Okay.
Our first one was a tip because we were young, stupid, naive in the process, and that's what it was. And so
All that 10 months ago.
yeah. So now, if I give $4,000, which is what we're doing now, and if I leave that as a tip, then
Yes.
you know, factually that becomes taxable.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
the
good
waitress will
point.
have to claim it on their tips and
Yeah.
tax
Good
it.
point.
And
You know,
yeah.
plus
But if
they-
you say it's a gift, it's
I think it comes
Exactly.
back to impact, though, because the bigger impact would be to probably have that whole restaurant get impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I found is that, you know, we give the gift and we hope that that's not taxable. I had an accountant call me one day that a restaurant called the accountant.
Oh, okay.
And he called me, and the way he approached the conversation was really bad at the onset.
Okay.
You know, he wasn't coming at me, but
Yeah.
the way he was asking questions of me, the giver of the program.
who are you?
I'm
Where
like-
did you get this money in? Why are you giving it to us?
I'm like, dude, shut the hell up, man.
Going to
This
gift
is-
horse in the mouth.
Exactly. I'll shut the thing down. I mean, what do you? And you know, whatever. It was just
We want to
and
be good here, you know.
Yeah, and he apologized, so that was
Okay.
that was great. But
Okay.
what I found was that while a restaurant appreciates walking in and surprising them with $4,000,
Wow.
I haven't met some of these people until the day I go in. I've never
Sure.
been in most of them.
Right.
15 to 18 of them. I've never been in
Sure.
until we gift them. And that's great. But what they love is the fact that people love them.
Yes. That's just,
That's,
yes.
That's what they love is that
The rallying
give a
of
shit.
everybody around
Yeah.
the area that has a desire to help them
yeah.
is
It's got to
the
be
big
so
part.
encouraging
Right.
to just feel that as like,
Right.
you know, a big hug. Like,
Oh, sure,
like,
it
oh my
is.
gosh, the
It
whole
is that.
community came together to
Yes.
support our business and we're struggling and we're trying to.
Yeah.
I think that's so
Yeah,
cool. That's
it
got to be
is.
such a rewarding thing.
When we gave the money to Bernie over at Bernie's and what are they?
BJ, he's a
Lathrop
great guy.
and
Yeah.
20?
Yeah. Great guy.
And yeah,
Great guy.
exactly. And I never met him, you know. And his
Down
son
to earth,
had
great
let us
guy.
know.
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, well, we're gonna do it, and we're in there with Ricky and Kim Yoon from Asiana's with us, and my wife and Kelly, and you know he comes out, and we had started talking about it or something, and it was like $200 or $2,000. I don't know why the number even came up, and he's like, "Do you need that?" And Bernie doesn't hear real well. And
Yes.
So I'm like, no, I don't need anything from you. And there's people recording and everything, and I don't need anything. I'm going to give you money. And he's like, oh, you know. And then we started counting the money for him. And it leads to an even bigger picture is that we gave him the $2,500. I even lost count as I'm counting it. I'm like, dude, Bernie, I don't even know anymore. There's $2,500 on the table for you. And he literally almost went to his knees.
Wow.
He bent over, and he's, you know, you can see that he's crying.
Yeah.
And so we were, you know, realizing that even that amount, which we look back at now, was $2,500, and is now $4,000. We hope to get it even bigger, but it then caught the eye of a national show that's going to be streamed. It's not going to be on national TV, but
Okay.
it's called The Miracle Show. They saw that video, and I think they found it on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And so they've sent a crew here that's
Wow.
already happened already, and they
That's amazing.
were at Bernie's and interviewed Bernie and his son. And then
Nice.
when we were there, I reconvened with Bernie months later, and he asked me, he said, so now do I have to give the money back? I'll do that. I'm like, no, Bernie, that's yours.
gift.
That's yours. You know, and it's so much so for me that I don't care if somebody wants to go on vacation with it. And what I
Right.
mean by that is we're so conditioned to think that, okay, well, the community gave you money and now you have to get a new oven for this place, Bernie. Yeah, that's what you
Sure.
have to do. And
Right.
people
Right.
showed love, man. Do whatever.
Right. Because
you
it's
wanna
all
do.
part of your life impact.
Yeah.
It is all part of that. Everything that you've got going on. People think of things linearly, but it's not. It's very much broad.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great aspect of what you've got going on because many people love to see people getting something out of it no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Because it all is good.
Yes.
It's all good.
Exactly. And we have big, you know, I got my sights big on this. And, you know, we have $35,000, maybe a little less, to still raise, and we'll do
Okay.
it. And I wanted people to tell me no, so I could tell them they were full of shit, and I would do it. But I'm gonna do it. But with the zoo, the zoo is getting screwed for size, or I don't want to call them customers, visitor restraints, and
Yes.
different things like
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
I'm from Palatine, Illinois, and Schaumburg is a big city, and the northwest suburbs are sizable.
Sure.
There's no city that has a freaking zoo.
Right. Right.
In any of those places.
Right.
And Kenosha doesn't have a zoo.
No.
And Franklin doesn't have a zoo.
Right.
And Milwaukee does, yes, but we have a damn good zoo here.
Yes.
And so, things like that just they tick me off, and you start getting into the government talk, but I don't give them any attention. The aldermen I like,
Yeah.
but I don't give them any attention. But at the end of the day, I want to help people that really give to other people.
There you go.
And the zoo is a place where probably everybody in the
the
That
zoo.
is it
I
in a
love the zoo.
microcosm, is the zoo really in its
Yeah.
existence. Only
Yeah.
recently did they have to start charging.
Yes,
It was a
exactly.
free zoo when I was most of my life.
Right.
The Milwaukee Zoo was?
The Racine Zoo.
Oh, the Racine Zoo.
It was a
okay.
free
Yeah.
donation type zoo
Wow.
that you could just walk in anytime.
Yeah.
It was only recently that they've started to charge.
And great people.
Yes.
I
oh,
mean,
big time.
great,
Big time.
Great people. And so,
Yes.
that's something that I want to do on an even bigger level. I think within this concept. I mean,
Okay.
there's stuff I got to get. I got to get my lawn mowed at some point, but I still want to get to $100,000
Great.
and reach that goal, and have a kick-ass party when it's done.
There you go.
I mean, the parade's going to happen, so why not have a bunch of the people that we've gifted on one float in the parade?
There you go.
And there are people that are on the kind of bigger scale of companies that are helping. Johnson hopped in, and
Good.
Chick-fil-A wants to hop in.
Okay.
They haven't yet.
Okay.
But I believe that they will. They've told me that they will. They've actually reassured me that they will.
Nice.
So that's great. How that's going to happen, I don't know yet. But
Sure.
I think, when you look at their drive-through, and what pisses me off is that some restaurants, they just don't have that type of money.
Right.
To all of a sudden March happens and the world shuts down for
Right.
them to, I'm going to build a drive-through window.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that easy for them.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Not just like that can happen. The
Yeah.
cost on
They
that
don't
is
have the
huge.
resources necessarily in that,
Right.
Exactly.
Right. It'd be
So-
great, but they just can't swing it.
Right.
Yes.
So, this money wouldn't necessarily be able to build somebody a drive-through window. But, what I think is important is that, Benson's hopped in.
Sure.
And I asked others, and they didn't.
Okay.
And so I was like, hell yes, Benson's.
Yeah.
You could give me one, and I could get $30 out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to praise you like the goddamn greatest Kringle as I've ever seen, because you hopped in, and I appreciate it. And not only
It's
did
stepping
they
up.
give me 60.
Stepping up like that is amazing.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
that's just it's that type of stuff. And so I think that others can do it. You're fighting an uphill battle because you look at the bigger scale, and this is your world, and you're 10 times smarter than me.
Oh.
And the sense that you got Amazon, and you've got someplace you can drive 2 minutes and get it.
Right.
But I'll get it tomorrow.
Yes.
And it's like, come on,
It is
man.
the local battle.
Yeah.
It is the local battle.
Yeah. Stephen Soccer Supply, My World Soccer, they're one of the top 10 retailers in the country. They're in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And Madison and what have you. But they're in Milwaukee, and they're legit. Like
Nice.
you want whatever is the best, you go there and you can get it.
Sure.
You want something that's from the recreational side, you can go there and you can get it. They're fantastic. Soccer's
Nice.
the only thing.
Sure.
But people growingly are getting whatever they want from wherever.
Yeah.
And they'll wait. And
Yes.
for me, I want to, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something through them.
There you go.
That type of, so
It's a mindset.
Yeah,
It's a mindset.
exactly.
It's a focus.
It's intentionality. Like you
yes.
have to be really intentional. Like I've decided I'm going to shop and
Locally.
support local.
Right.
If you don't make that,
Right.
declaration of like I'm going to do this, it's just so easy to go to
Yeah,
Amazon.
it's getting people's minds to
Yeah.
think a little bit differently. Sometimes you have to step up because it is a time issue. Many
Yeah.
times it can be a cost issue. There's a lot of things going on there, but the biggest flavor of our community is the great local things that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
It is the flavor. Everywhere is a little different because of the local things that are going on.
Yes.
It's not the big box that are in all these places.
Right.
You can
Right.
go anywhere to get any of those.
Exactly.
But the local things that we've got and the local restaurants especially are the flavor of our community. People think of our community because of the local things that are going on here.
Yes.
And so we need that. We need to better that. We need to bring that on.
Right.
And you're doing that.
Well,
and I really commend you.
I appreciate it. It's frankly big time enjoyable.
Good.
I mean,
It seems like you really enjoy what you're
Yeah,
doing.
it
And
is.
a lot of
Yeah,
passion
definitely.
comes through, like
Yeah,
you
the
just
energy
like
is
the
right
connection
here.
you're making with these people and the difference you're making. You
there's
can
some
tell
of the
you really
greatest
enjoy it.
people that I've met, and I'm not just saying that. After meeting some of these people, and then realizing, my wife said this: those that have the least generally give the most.
You got it.
Absolutely.
And in my world, I wasn't necessarily realizing that. And now doing this, and I don't know why. I think God called me to the moment, and so I'm running with it, and I love the energy of it. But the people that I've met and they all know each other. I didn't know them, but they all know each other, and they're not passing $3,000 down the line. If we go to George's and give them $4,000, they then hold an event where they'll sell some chili or whatever, and they'll raise another $1,400,
Wow.
which was $1,442 to be exact. And they're not giving $1,442 out of their $4,000, and we're just giving it and just passing money down the road.
Sure.
We're raising the money to gift the
It's
money.
constant elevation.
Exactly.
Constant elevation. Yeah,
Exactly, and that's
huge.
where I'd love for we're at 4,000, and any of you guys, and I don't know which camera, and it doesn't matter, but
There's three. You can just
you can put your money in here, whatever we might be, and go from there. But we want the next one to be 5,000.
There we go.
And then 6 and 7 if it and if it keeps going, and that's fine. And the other thing that's beautiful is that Ricky called me today. He wasn't pissed off. He's never been pissed off. He got $2,020, and now there's restaurants that haven't been around as long as him that are getting $4,000.
Right.
And he's offering, what can I do to help the project?
help the momentum and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
And
Well, I
that's
know
just
we've talked.
kick-ass.
I know we've talked from the farmers market when we met
Yeah.
that time about how RelyLocal can be a part of this to engage and help with that. I'm all
Yes.
over that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll find our path.
Yes.
We're going to find our path because there's a lot of entities within the RelyLocal world that I think would love to help.
Fantastic.
And so we're all over that. And that's over 1,000 businesses. So
Fantastic.
yeah. So we're going to jump in. We're jumping in.
Have you
That's
thought
awesome.
about helping in any other ways? Like I've heard a lot of struggling restaurants specifically that they're having trouble getting people to work there.
Oh,
like they're
sure.
getting all this
Yeah.
business
Yeah,
now that
that's
things are
just as
opening up,
bad.
but they
Yeah,
are not
that's
being
just
able
as
to
big
get
a battle.
servers because either people are still nervous about the virus or they're getting paid more to stay home.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense for them. So that
Right.
may be something
It
else you
is
can
a
kind of
huge
do,
battle.
like some kind of job fair, kind
Right.
of collaboration
Yeah.
or something to get some
Yes.
people out there.
It's brutal. And it's brutal, and I look at it and I'm like, okay, it's brutal, so things have to adapt and businesses have to adapt. And if that means that sadly you might have to raise your prices, to increase wages or whatever, because people can go deliver things
Right.
and get paid more.
Right.
And if they're concerned about no contact, et cetera, and fair enough. And that goes to big business that
Right.
might not be going away. So Chit Chat the other day put out that they needed somebody to literally wash dishes, and I replied, "Hell yeah, I'll do it."
Nice.
And not get paid.
Oh, man. They're
They
great
didn't-
people. Angela, she's a great gal.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
they're
a great gal.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And she's been at the events that we've held to raise money for a future restaurant. And so, they ended up getting somebody to do it. And so did Kelly. Kelly offered as well. And, and that type of stuff doesn't make Racine unique. There are great people in Racine.
Yes.
That's going to happen in Kenosha. And that's going to
Yes.
happen in Franklin because people,
Yes.
I think, at their core are great.
Yes.
I don't think there's a bunch of asses in the world. I think there's a bunch of great people in the world.
Yes.
We just don't hear about
Right.
great people.
Right.
Or
Or they're looking for something to be great with.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes a real battle too in many ways. And I always love to see when things are actually working within that world.
Yeah.
That you were talking a few minutes ago, and I'm really big advocate on day making.
Yeah.
I think people should be looking and going out of their way to make people's days.
Yes.
And if they do that, that's a bigger that can almost be a bigger impact than money in many ways because it influences them from that point forward.
Yes.
And so a lot of what you've got going on with that is really that focused.
Yeah.
And the people that we have that are watching this, we want that engagement. So please reach back or reach out to stand, whatever it needs to be to make things better wherever you can. It can be small, it can be big, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
People will, in 10 years, 20 years, people won't necessarily, even the business owners, they won't necessarily remember, and we've all heard this phrase, but it is in this moment as well in this project, but they won't necessarily remember how much money was given. They might see a picture, and maybe one of the pictures makes the wall at the restaurant or something great.
Right.
But they won't necessarily remember that, but they'll remember how they were made to feel.
Yep.
Yes.
How they felt.
And exactly, and they'll remember that was a kick-ass moment in the history of our pub.
Yes.
Yes. JJ, when we gifted him, he bawled his eyes out. Now, JJ bawls if there's an ant that gets stepped on. So I love you, JJ, but he's an emotional dude. But nonetheless,
I can relate to that.
we had a great moment on his stage and gifted him, and he has since worked with Racine Brewing, local again, and to try and raise money.
It's that whole pay it forward kind of concept.
Exactly.
It's just like you get blessed, and then you're able to bless others, and
with
it
that
does
elevation
trickle
in
down.
mind all the time.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that. What else did you bring here, Sam? I
you
noticed
wanna
there
show
was
us
something
another-
else.
Absolutely.
Visual aid.
Look at that.
Show and tell.
So that is a V, obviously, from Hobby Lobby. But what it is I decided, I don't know, maybe on the 7th or 8th restaurant
Okay.
that I would like to have something from my office at home.
Sure.
Keepsake.
When this all ends. So it's written on the side, it's written on the top, it's written everywhere. These are the restaurant, generally the owners, or whoever we may have interacted with. No one on top yet, so who's ever next might use the top. But Deja Vu, robbed, and then we decided, screw that. No one's gonna rob somebody and get away with it. So we went right away. We were able to have the funds, and we went there right away.
Yeah.
Deja Vu's on there, but so that's what this is for me, just to be able to.
Fantastic.
If there's something I'm going to have, we have all the media, but if there's going to be something, then this is it.
I love it. I love it.
Got to get you to the point where you can spell out the whole challenger scene. Hello,
I would.
Venmo challenge.
I would love it. I honestly think that I would if I could, in the sense that that's what I would. From the joy perspective, from the people that I meet perspective, I think you need boots on the ground for where you are. I know Portnoy is doing it for Barstool on a national level.
Yes.
He has a national platform. I don't have that national platform, and
Right.
God bless him for doing it. I think it's great.
Yes.
But if I could gift every restaurant in the city $10,000, I'd do it.
Right.
Because I think that, part of why it's innate for me is that you don't go to the local parts manufacturer to celebrate your birthday. When mom and dad come in town,
Good point. I mean,
you're not going to the dealership to go, hey, can we sit in here for a little while and
We're going to have a little party
have
right
a
here.
little I mean, you go to these places, you don't drive through somewhere
Yes.
to celebrate your birthday.
You got it.
And those moments, and obviously COVID opened everybody's eyes in that regard. And sadly, what pisses me off is that it took me something like this to really open my eyes and go, damn it.
Yes.
This we could lose more than what's going on here.
Right.
What's possible.
Right.
yeah.
And so it took me this, but now I realize that I've already changed how I feel.
Sure.
Now I did that last year, even before doing my purchasing for my coaching side of things through Steffens instead of
Right.
Amazon,
Oh, sure.
because it
The
helps.
impact, there's an impact.
Exactly.
It's an impact.
It
It's an impact.
absolutely. And you know more than me about you spend $1 inside your community.
Yes.
And that goes however far.
Big time.
You spend that
Big
dollar
time.
somewhere else, and it costs so
Yes.
much.
You
the
got it.
community in loss.
Yes.
And so that, whatever it may be, I think it's just the right thing to do now. It's just
It's great.
I don't
great.
want to change what we're doing.
Oh, that's just fantastic. In closing, I guess I'd really love to hear where you are looking for the most help. I guess kind of where in the audience or anybody would be interested or can help you. What would that look like? What is the biggest impact for that?
The reality is, and I'm not shy of asking anybody, and I hope
Good.
everybody shares the hell out of this.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That I'll challenge everybody that's watching to contribute money.
There we go.
And it doesn't have to be through an app. It can be, through the bucket. It can be at one of the events. It can be showing up at Richard's. Wells Brothers is going to allow me pizzas to deliver.
Nice.
That's the biggest.
And that's
way
a double
to be
impact when you
involved.
think about it, because they're actually engaging with that restaurant now.
Exactly.
They're not just going to be there and look around and go, "Oh, I'm not going to.
Right.
Oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to get something to eat."
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's
the
Win-win.
biggest thing is that, and that is to contribute money.
Yes.
Whether that be
Okay.
$1, $5, $10, $20, whatever it may be. Our biggest gift is $3,000 that
Wow.
came from out of state, never been in Racine.
Wow.
They've never stepped foot in Racine.
Wow.
And they gave $3,000 from a household, not a company.
Okay.
Here you go, $3,000. And it was
Wow.
like, that was even before we were doing $3,000 gifts.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, that was opening my eyes. But
Right.
there are ways that companies could help.
There you go. There you go.
And those can be, whether it be coming up with getting our pictures that from the moments bigger and onto maybe a display that could be shown somewhere,
Okay.
of 24 different restaurants that have been gifted.
There we go.
And you can walk in and see it at somewhere.
Sure.
I'll be this Friday. I don't know when we chop this up and put it out for consumption, but
Right.
this Friday, for First Friday, I'll be at Social on 6th.
Oh, sure.
And then there's no,
Sure. Joan,
I love, Joan, exactly. And I
Yeah.
love the word you said earlier. There's no agenda. I'm just going to put a
Nice.
freaking chair down, smoke a cigar, have the bucket out, and if you want to stop by and talk, great.
There you go.
And if you don't want to stop by and talk, no problem.
There you go.
If you want to throw money in the bucket, cool. And if you don't, no problem.
Yeah. Excellent.
it is what it is. And so, that's really, awesome of Joan to do.
Yes.
And I met her at Deja Vu when we
great.
gifted them.
Okay.
And it was cool.
And
Yeah.
what's the best way for people to find you online? You said the Facebook group. What's the name of it?
Yeah, at Venmo Challenge Racine
Okay.
is the Facebook page, and hopefully people will get on there, get your ass on there on Facebook. Now is time. You can do it now.
Now is the
That's fine.
time. You got it.
You can find
Do you have
us
Instagram?
on yes,
Okay, good.
Instagram Venmo Challenge Racine.
Okay.
A Twitter handle Venmo Challenge Racine or Venmo Challenge 1. I think they wouldn't allow that many characters.
Okay.
And then me on Facebook or text me 414-313-3477. However it happens. I'll drive my ass over to pick up from whoever.
There you go.
As well. So we've done that, and however it's out there, and it's the hashtag I use is Live and Give. It not necessarily you can track everything that way, but I just think it's right so that you can search the hashtag as well, folks, and
Sure.
On your shirt.
Yeah, I'd be happy
yep,
to.
go there. So
Yeah, we'll be happy to spread that.
there you go.
Yeah.
This is from T-Shirts Express, like a $5 shirt. The printing cost me more, but it causes people to at least pay a little bit of attention.
I noticed you when you walked in the door.
Yeah. go.
Absolutely. Good impact again.
There you go.
We're
There you
talking
go.
impact a lot here right now.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this has been fantastic,
Thanks so
Stan.
much.
Oh, it's
for coming.
fantastic for you
Yeah.
guys having me on.
We love it.
This is kick-ass. I appreciate it.
This is the purpose of what we're doing with this, is to give people this chance to find these great things.
Pretty much encompasses RelyLocal here.
It
with
is.
what you're
It's
doing.
What
I
we're
mean,
hoping
it's
for.
so
We're
cool.
hoping for that. So we want
Yeah.
the engagement. We want everybody to get something out of this. And if we do have people engaging with each other, there's always going to be something good out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not hard.
You're right.
People, battle this, battle that. It's not hard.
No.
It's not hard. It's just helping, giving, and finding things to work with.
Yes.
And so, fantastic.
Yes.
Thanks, Dan.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you guys.
yes.
Thanks, both
Thanks
of
for all
you.
You're
you're doing.
very
It's just
welcome.
So cool.
Thanks, boss, behind the curtain. There's Oz over
That's
here.
what we call it. Like, pay no attention to the man
Yeah.
behind the curtain.
Yes, but I
Producer
I
Barry.
appreciate it, guys.
He's been
This was
doing a great
awesome.
job.
This was
but,
very good. It was nice
thank
to
you.
meet you.
Thanks,
and-
everybody,
as well.
for your viewership here. Share this. This program is amazing. It needs to be more out there. You got it. Venmo Challenge Racine. And please subscribe. Spread this around. Get more engagement for Stan in his program. Thank you for attending us and
Yeah.
coming with us here
Thank you,
today
guys.
on this
Thank you.
journey.
Thank you.
You got it. Have a great day.